Might help if I activate my microphone. There we go. How is everybody? Hey, thanks for joining me. A little late. I almost didn't make it. I was coming down to the wire there, but it was for a very special purpose, which I will share soon. Well, first, because I had to rush here, I need to get some stuff set up. Just need to get my mic settings right. Okay, there's that. And let me hit up the Discord. See, just inviting my co-hosts. See, I already have one. That's awesome. And let me just make sure my Discord settings are correct. I think I have to do this every time. Oh, nope. Nope. That should be right. Martel! Are you there?
Hello. How am I coming through?
If you're talking, we can't hear you.
Testing.
Oh, heard something.
3.
You are not coming through, unfortunately.
I'm coming through on stream.
Keep trying here, folks. Oh, it's always an adventure. Okay, apparently, because I'm not looking at the stream, Martel can be heard there, but I can't hear him. And I have an echo. All right. Sort this out. And that's the right mic. How about the speakers? Gotta be something in Discord then. Here, let me stop the screen share. Let me know if that's better in terms of the stream echo.
It is frozen.
be, people? All good to see you in the chat again.
Okay, is that any better?
Yeah, we're trying to sort out. Can you hear me?
How's that? Oh, I can hear you now.
I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you good now.
Okay, I've got the stream pulled up right now. Hang on.
I can hear you. But I've still got the echo.
The echo from me or from Mortel?
I've got a lot of echo for some reason.
So on Discord, Brian is
I
kind
don't really know
of
what's
clear,
going on.
and then on the stream it's very echo.
Not sure why. For me.
Brian.
Because I'm using a headset. Yes. Oh, it seems like every time we do this, I have to try different settings to get it to work. You guys know I wrote this stuff down. Okay.
One moment, I'll be right back.
Whoa, something just suddenly shifted. Yeah, that was weird. Whoa, something just suddenly shifted. Yeah, my echo's gone now. Yeah, that was weird. Okay, I think it's working. Martel, are you there?
I'm here just listening to the stream to see if anything is going.
Okay, I can't hear my co-host now.
Wait, are you able to hear us?
Okay, I can't hear my co-host now.
I'm here. Testing. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, they weren't saying anything wrong. Yeah, I can hear you. Keep talking because I think we took care of the echo on the stream, but then I wasn't sure if I could hear you guys anymore because you were being really quiet.
Am I good too?
Okay, we're back to normal now.
Okay.
Outstanding.
Yeah, I was trying to listen to the stream.
Yeah, I think it was just something in Discord that just decided to start working.
A little bit distracting.
Damn.
Because I didn't really do anything different. But welcome back. So, Martel, what have you been up to since we last spoke last night?
Nothing much. Yeah, I'm getting ready for Christmas.
Wrapping
Are you
presents,
saying
putting up
anything? 'Cause I
tree,
can't
all
hear
that
you.
good stuff.
Pretty much. Oh dear.
Yeah, I cannot hear you on Discord.
Can you hear Saracen?
Can you hear me, Brian?
Keep talking. I'm going to try to fix this.
Alright. Well, what have you been up to, Saracen?
Well, I finished Do Android's Dream of Electric Sheep, which was an excellent cerebral read.
Okay, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me, Brian?
Come in, co-hosts.
Hello, Brian.
You're both talking.
Okay, not hearing the co-hosts.
Uh-oh.
So it looks like
Hang on.
when I can't hear them on Discord, there's no echo, but when I can, there is. It seems to be the trade-off.
Wow, Martel, we seem to be in a very peculiar situation.
Yeah.
Damn this technology.
Demons. What are you gonna do?
Okay, so now you're back.
Demons with an A, by the way.
Okay, you can hear us now?
Yeah, I can hear you
Go
now.
back to, or
I don't know, because I have the screen muted. Let's see.
oh, if the stream is on, it's going to be an echo probably. I always mute the stream when I'm talking, otherwise I.
Yes, the echo is back.
Oh.
All right, now.
Yeah,
Oh,
there's the
geez.
echo.
Testing. Testing.
Oh, jeez. My audio seems to be non-echoey, but yours... Oh, man, what in God's green earth is going on here?
I don't know, because the weird thing is different
Yeah, I'm not.
settings do different things.
I'm not quite sure what, but it seems like we are audible no matter what on stream. But if we're audible to Brian on Discord, he's going to have the echo on stream. But he doesn't have an echo on Discord. The darndest thing.
Interesting stuff. I'm going to keep messing with it and get it sorted out. Because I actually have some important news. But it'll wait until I get this fixed. Okay. Let's try this. And go strike up a conversation. I can't test to see if we're all audible, if we're not all talking. So just go for it. Thank you. Thank you in advance. Oh, that's cute. And she's not going to eat him? Oh, fun. Hello, what? Hello? Okay. I'm just going down the line of microphone options. Bear with me. Oh, that sounds delightful. Yeah. Yeah, your local sheriff is the most important elected official. That's awesome. Amen. That's awesome. And it's easy to stay sane that way. I'm not saying anything. I think my mic sensitivity is just turned up to 11. Yes, I'm using headphones. Didn't mean to snap at you, but I get asked that every episode. I'm about to. I can't believe Windows is just not letting me adjust my mic levels. But of course, because tech is just getting worse. Like, I'm not going to read your dumb sentence, Windows. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to shut the Discord down. Okay. And that still didn't work. You know, I have another idea. There's only to get the Discord back. Okay, we're back. That was not the problem, because now it's doing it even when I shut down Discord. But I think there might be two copies of the same stream running at once. And my mic sensitivity is still amazingly high, though. All right. I think that's a bit better. Yeah. Okay. I think I fixed it. Yeah, it's manageable now. Yeah, for some reason I had to close the live stream window I was watching and then open a new one. Less and less. So thanks for bearing with me. Oh, one second. What were you saying, Martel? Yeah, I think I saw David Stewart talking about how they took something else away from the latest iPhone. I think they already took away the headphone jack. Like, is there no charging port now or something? Yeah, fun. Yep. I'll be right back. Keep the conversation going. I don't know. Hold on. Let me adjust something else here. Okay, I've got you guys' volume set to 100%. Can you hear me in the Discord?
We can hear you just fine in Discord.
Yeah, I switched back to my old headset.
Not sure if our audio has been fixed on the stream. Just listening to it right now.
Okay. We keep trying.
Never rains but pours.
Indeed. I might have figured it out here. So go ahead and talk, guys.
Anyways. Geez, technology. Mark out where you're at. It's sorry?
No.
Not last time?
It is not snowing at all.
Okay, I imagine the snow is right.
No?
Actually, yeah. Where I'm at, doesn't really snow, actually. Once every...
Hey, you guys just get a lot of rain.
Once every
Okay.
20 or so years is when I get snow.
Now all three of us seem to be coming through pretty faint on stream.
Bradford and Rawl said they can both hear Brian.
Well, on the bright side, at least I can be heard.
And that's what counts.
Yeah, that's what the stream is here for, really.
Now all three of us.
Or that's what the chat is here for, really.
Oh, wait. Wait. Did I?
There we go.
No. There we go.
Okay, I think we're finally in business. Oh, Razor got through St. Isidore Seville,
Okay.
patron saint of the internet. I need a drink. Okay. Well, welcome to the IT cast. The IT stream, where we just fix our own comms problems with a wrench. We're doing it Soviet style. Just keep banging on the stuff. Okay. Now that where'd he go?
He dropped for a minute. He said he'll be back in a few.
Oh, that was just when I wanted to show him something. I'll get back in here.
We can fill him in when he's back. We can fill him in while he's back. The chat has been waiting patiently.
Alright, hold on. This is weird. Because I uploaded something to the general chat. And it's not here.
Hello?
Okay. Alright, one more thing to check, folks. Okay.
Hello?
Crusader Saracen, you are going to host Geek Gab now. Time to fight without a net. I'll be back.
Brian, if you're saying something, I can't hear you.
Ah, there we are. See, now you can put this on your resume. Are you still alive?
Oh, he said he'll be back. Okay, well, in that case, chat, just bear with us just a little bit more, please.
Yeah, I'm right here.
So, enough about all of us. How about all of y'all? How have you been doing? Yeah, it seems like Brian did leave to take care of something. Yeah, it's right. We can occupy ourselves for just a few minutes, as long as he needs. So, how are all of y'all's? Jathan, I don't believe I've seen you in the chat before. So how about all y'all? How have you been doing this wonderful Christmas season? Or at least I hope it's wonderful for you.
Okay, I'm back. Good job. Now you can put that on your resume.
Oh, okay. Woohoo!
Also, while I get into this, Crusader, check out the general chat in Discord.
Yeah. Oh. Ooh. Hello. Ooh. Hello.
That's what I was working on.
Hello.
I don't even know if it works.
Hello. What?
I didn't even have time to proofread it.
What have we here? Well, I just opened it on my my browser, so looks like it's good to go right now.
Yeah, it's working.
Yep.
Excellent. I know Chad has
Oh yes.
no clue what we're talking about here. Do you
Oh
want to tell
no.
him?
I was about to ask whether or not. Yeah. Okay. I'm glad I didn't say it then.
You can do it. I was gonna have Martel do it, but he just went all flatty on us, so it's up to you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, consider me honored and humbled. What I have right here to share with y'all at Brian's behest is the Xseed RPG ebook PDF. Ladies and gentlemen, be in awe and be
It's
amazed.
done! It's finally done. Oh.
Amazing. Before Christmas, too. What timing?
It took me
You must have been grinding to put that out.
18 years. It's like having a kid graduate high school. Oh, Chad, you have no idea.
Wow.
Yeah. I've just got to format it as PDF now. Well, I did PDF, so I've done the PDF. I need to do the Mobi and the EPUB. And then that'll go out to backers. So you'll have a nice little Christmas present. Oh, JD, yeah, thanks. Jen, thank you for your congratulations. And then really, honestly, once I've got the ebook done, deriving the print version from that is super easy. So, yep, for all you XE backers of the RPG, the print version will be out this month. Thank the Lord. So I'm in a good mood.
Wow.
How about you guys? Gotta be honest, that was weighing on me a lot. I was like, I gotta get this done.
Oh, you must have really been pushing that out over this, well, you said 18 years, but still just this past month, try to get it done before Christmas.
Wow.
That is something.
Yeah, pretty fried. To be honest. So, let's play some games. Let's play a game now. Playing it.
Indeed. Working hard needs to be rewarded with playing hard, huh?
Yeah. That's what you were talking about for you.
Let's see. Looking at chat, looks like everyone mostly still has to prepare or wrap Christmas presents. Always a fun time.
Speaking of time, he's a time mage. The hat is exquisite.
As a kid, I always believed your power as a mage was defined by the size of your headwear.
Well, what should I look at? What am I looking for up? Thread, big guy. Did you see him saying, look up thread in chat?
Oh, I think he's answering how is he doing and how is he feeling.
Oh, okay, good.
Martel has returned.
Excellent. Did you see what I left for you in the general chat?
I did, and it looks good.
Oh, thank you. I made it all worthwhile.
Am I allowed to talk at all about the playtesting?
Oh, sure. Because we're going to be doing more soon.
Okay. So, yeah. I pretty much met Brian when I operated as a playtester for this RPG, which led to some very interesting scenarios as me and my fellow playtesters broke the game in highly creative ways and just tried out different rule sets. My personal favorite was killing Harvester by ramming it with a stun.
That's right. He took out Harvester by pushing Stapfin, well, a Stapfin, because it's mass-produced. So he took out a custom alien combat frame that is able to take the X-Seeds on all at once and win, and he blew it up by ramming at a top speed.
Yeah, because the energy absorption rules for the armor meant that the Stopfin's plasma SMG just literally would do nothing at all. So I looked up the rules on ramming, decided, yeah, this'll work, and just cranked it to top speed and rammed it.
And by the way, you can look up the rules on ramming now in your shiny new PDF, which have been revised and expanded and polished up for clarity, as well as all of the other rules.
I also spawned a number of just unholy amalgamations of statistics using the mech and weapon customization rules.
Yep.
Okay. So, I'm curious, Brian. Enlighten us and the chat, please. You're a fiction writer, but now you've also created an RPG system. And an RPG is different from, I would assume at least, different from writing a narrative story, because you're not really telling a narrative, you're creating a whole game and a system with rule sets, right?
Oh yeah, and I'm going to correct you on one tiny little point. I've created 2 RPGs. I've released 1 now.
Oh, okay, 2 RPGs.
Yeah, there is a Soul Cycle RPG.
Okay. But, oh, okay, well, I shouldn't ask about that then, but I'll keep that in the back of my head. But so,
it's not quite ready yet, so that's okay.
Okay. So is there any, like, crossover you found in the skill set for writing a narrative story versus creating an RPG rule set?
Yeah,
Did one help you in the other, or is it just like...
It was a beautiful self-reinforcing feedback loop, as I think Martel can attest. Because some of the stuff from the playtest wound up in double S.
Yeah.
Like Squirrel Industries, for example, is canon now. You're welcome. And thank you.
Yep. You're very welcome. Yep. So, for those who've read the book, both the goblins and the Einherjar started out as me looking at the size category rules and deciding that it would actually be more effective to make 4 size category 2 mix than 1 size category 1 mix, and then setting out to test that proposition.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, our first combat test with a Mark I Einherjar ended when it one-shot dead drop in the first round.
It did, I was there. Oh,
Right, were you DMing
Chan is
or were
giving
you
some
just
love to
observing?
squirrels. Yes. Squirrels. Sorry, go
So
ahead.
were you DMing, Brian, or were you just... Or sorry, were you DMing or were you just observing the playtest?
Oh, I was GMing.
Ah, okay.
And you did a wonderful job of it.
Oh, thank you. That is high praise. Because, I'll be honest, my jamming approach differs from a purist, like a real experts like Jeffro Johnson, for example, or even Dornall's. I really do engage more in story gaming, and I know that's a dirty word, but in all humility, I'm also a world-class author, so I can do story gaming correctly. Not everybody has that Venn diagram overlap going on.
The beauty of a pen and paper RPG is the flexibility. Depending on what you want out of the game, then that's what you're going to get. I like Axe because when I GM, I'm much less story-focused and much more world-focused. CL was actually in a game that I was running where I just made fantasy Europe. Like, literally took a map of the world, decided, okay, here's how various fantasy races would have developed. The year is 1488, go. 1489, since there's a rule supplement for the Age of Pike and Shot. My players wanted to explore the New World, so I decided to give them 3 years before it opens up to build their fortune and army.
Cool. Now I will say, not to just totally just brag, right? Not double brag, but I've also had the privilege of having excellent players, including you, who do things like look at the ramming rules and figure out how they can take down like a level 99 boss with a level 3 weenie. So thank you for backing and thank you for playing. It was a delight. We're going to have more fun in the next round of playtests coming up soon.
I look forward to it. And thank you for accommodating all of the just absolutely nuts things that we were doing.
Hey, that's what I do.
I think that we did a pretty good job of playtesting the rules too, because we tried out a lot of different things, and you were always like, yeah, sure, we'll do a few rounds with that.
That's what I was trying to do, man. And a lot of stuff from the playtests made it into the final rules. So, for example, probably the biggest change is how armor works. I know that Dornall brought this up. It's like, gee, no. Armor piercing is good because it halves the protection that a mecha gets from armor, but armor comes or it came in multiples of 3. Well, now it comes in multiples of 2. But it was actually a Brent's suggestion. I just upped everything by 1.5 times. So the max armor used to be 6, now it's 9. And each point of armor counts as 2/3 of a weight instead of a whole weight. And it costs 70,000 instead of 100,000 per point.
Okay.
So it's still on the same scale. But now it divides evenly. It's nice and clean.
Yes.
I'm glad you approve.
And we statted up. Oh my. Wow, Megami is actually a monster.
Oh, you found that, did you?
Yep.
Found her stats. Yeah, happy birthday. Merry Christmas.
Wow.
Go ahead, feel free to share what you're wowing about.
She was better than CY5 Cobalt at the stuff that he was designed to do. So for the stream, I'm just looking at the part of the rule set where he statted up all of the characters from Combat Frame Exceed, and Megami. So the way it was 6 is highly skilled professional in the field, 3 is just trained.
I put the benchmarks in
That's
there.
how you described it.
Well, guess what? The official benchmarks are in the book now for stats and skills. So you probably just like a Control F for benchmarks and have them right there, if you want.
Which page is that?
I don't know off the top of my head, but it's early on. It's in character creation, so probably like the first 10 pages. You should just be able to search the PDF.
Okay, so yeah, 3 is average, 6 is highly skilled, and then 4 is good, 5 is top 10% of the profession. I don't think Megami has a single stat below a 6. Most of them are 9 or 10. So, absolute monster.
Yeah, Max had no idea what he was missing.
Flat out better. Yeah, flat out better than most everyone.
Now look at Maz.
Yeah, that would explain it. Combat frame piloting 11, meaning every point in the stat is 1d6 rolled, so basically in a roll-off, Maz would beat a standard pilot 86% of the time.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, sounds about right. Because it's 11d6 versus 3d6. So, actually make that more like 94%, because he would basically need to roll nothing but 1s, and the other need to get 3 6s.
Yeah, he's the best pilot in the whole series.
Yep.
Like, him versus Azusa would be close. But I think he edges her out.
Yeah.
So see, you're already having fun with that. love it. That's what makes the job worthwhile, folks.
Yeah, it was like I said, it was a genuine pleasure actually playtesting all of this.
And for you folks out there watching, you too can get the chance to playtest this because we're doing another crowdfunder next year, and I've already decided that one perk is going to be for the Coalition Year 40 sourcebook. So the companion to the main sourcebook that I just put out, and we're going to playtest again. So we're playtesting again here, and probably, now that the book's out next month, it'll just depend on player schedules. But then in the spring or summer, we'll do the next Indiegogo, and we will open up more Combat Frame XE playtesting slots. So you've heard the testimonials right here. Make sure to get in on that if you're interested.
Brief digression to the game. Are you doing more of the corner toad job point farming, or is this going to be an actual battle?
I'm going to do more corner toad job point farming because I still need a few more job points. Yeah, you like
do
them.
we have the first calculator yet, or
Not yet. I think I need to level up my time mage a little more.
Time Mage?
Yeah, the one in the purple robe and the awesome hat over there with their arms raised. Who's doing
What
this?
do they do?
This.
Oh, that's useful.
Yeah, so she hasted a bunch of my guys. She paralyzed the chocobo. Oh, and they also get meteor for some reason. Don't ask.
Just out of curiosity, was the calculator skill in the RPG book inspired the calculator from this?
Probably subliminally. But
Okay.
in terms of how it works, it was much more inspired by Dune and like Mentats.
Ah, excellent place to get inspired from.
Why, thank you. Since he was a chocobo's
There's
turn.
another series.
Oh, sorry. It has a chocobo's turn. He can't do nothing.
Oh.
Sorry, please go ahead. Another series.
Oh, just there's another book series that did a very good job of taking inspiration heavily from Dune and Star Wars while also doing their own thing with the story. The Sun Eater Cycle, if you've heard of that one.
I have not. Sounds fascinating.
Yeah, I haven't heard of that one either. When was this published?
The first book was published back in 2018 by, and I'm going to horribly mispronounce this name, Christopher Ruocchio. Ruocchio?
I know the name. I don't know the name of the series, though. I know the name Christopher Ruocchio, right? Something like that?
Something.
I've seen him around on Twitter. Oh, interesting. Well, I'll definitely have to look into that then.
Yeah, it's chat, but they do a very good job of taking inspiration. Fourth book is coming out in 3 months. Let's get that.
Okay,
Alright,
so I looked
yeah.
it up for
Well,
you.
chat.
Oh, go ahead.
And the way that the author likes to describe it is the story of Anakin Skywalker if he was the good guy. And his usual response is, yes, you and I know he was the good guy, but most people don't.
So, by the way, I looked it up for you. The prerequisites for a calculator are level 4 priest, level 4 wizard, level 3 Time Mage, and level 3 Oracle. So you have to get proficient in every other kind of magic user before you can unlock it.
And how easy or hard is it to switch off jobs?
Oh, it's press of a button. Let's see, I just need a level 2 Priest, and that unlocks Oracle.
Okay.
And then I'll have all the job classes I need, and then I can just cycle my guys through until they get the requisite levels. So it'll be coming soon. Oh, by the way, so here's what the Time Mage can do. So haste, slow, stop, don't move, float, reflect. Demi halves the target's HP. Wait, I can pull up the.
Oh. Okay.
And then meteor.
Sure, why not?
So yeah, time magic it's some of the best buffs in the game, although not the best. Oracle and Mediator are awesome at buffs and debuffs.
The spell list seems very much a microcosm of that one joke about how JRPGs, the first quest is, help the old lady cross the street. And then 5 hours later, battle the legions of hell in order to gain the power that you need to overthrow this minor god and become the ruler of all the earth.
Well, I kind of cheated because I did a glitch exploit that let me master the Time Mage job skills immediately. So she's only like level 3 or something.
Oh. Wow. Yeah, just looking at like haste, slow, meteor.
Oh, she's 12.
It's hilarious.
Yeah, still, she's level 12 out of like 99 in this game. The main character is only level 13. But yeah, I did an exploit you can do where if a job skill list can scroll down more than one page, what you do is you select a job skill you have enough JP to learn. Then when the confirmation window comes up, you hold square, which has the same effect as page down in a word processor. And if the cursor then lands on a skill you can't buy, but you buy it anyway, it glitches out, and so it first changes the value of your JP to 0, but then when you back out of the class and go back in, it gives you 99.99 JP. So you can just buy everything in the class.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, and all of the mages can do that.
Say, Brian, Martel, sorry about this, but tonight I have to dip early. I have things to take care of early in the morning before a Christmas party, so I will be leaving now. Gentlemen,
Hey, man.
chat,
Oh.
good night.
Take care.
Merry Christmas to you all.
Hey, Merry Christmas.
God be with you.
Here comes Retro-Spective. Crusader Saracen, everybody. Haven't heard anything from our other co-hosts. They might be busy with Christmas stuff too.
So I was talking to CL when I did briefly. He won't be on tonight. He's doing some stuff with the family.
Okay. Well, I think the two of us can hold down the fort.
I imagine so. Okay, so I'll ask you the same question I asked Saracen. Favorite Christmas carol?
Either green sleeves or God rest ye merry gentlemen.
Good one.
Thank you. Yeah, I like the older, more somber ones.
As do I, but my favorite remains Hark There.
Ooh. Good choice. I'm also partial to O Holy Night.
That's a good one. Honestly, Joy to the World. It very much fits in the spirit of the season, I would say.
It does. It's easy to play, but simplicity is to its advantage. Also, Adeste Fidelis, not that O come all ye faithful garbage.
What's wrong with O Come All Ye Faithful?
It's not Latin. I prefer Adeste Fidelis.
Me te adoro. That one.
Yeah, same song, just as the original.
Yeah. I only know the Latin from that one clip from Joyeux Noël. The Christmas truce scene.
Not familiar with the reference. Please educate me.
Have you ever heard the story of the Christmas truce
Yeah.
in World War One? Okay. So, in addition to the greatest advertisement of all time with Sainsbury's Christmas truce ad, there's a film called Joyeux Noël. All I know is the 11 minutes of it that I've seen. I don't know if it's the entire film or not, but it's just a bunch of Brits, Frenchmen, and Germans in their respective trenches, and they hear each other caroling in the trenches and decide to call a truce for the night. Beautiful stuff.
It gets you right in the feels.
Yeah. And there are a few very good songs about that occasion. Christmas in the Trenches always gets me every time. This year, Sabaton actually released a song about the Christmas truce, which... But, sure.
Oh, wow.
A bit different from their usual fare, but they made it work. Yeah, as far as Christmas carols go, though, if I were a music producer, hypothetically, I would want to put together a record of just a choir singing Christmas carols, no fancy stuff, no layering, no 5,000 different instruments, maybe a piano for the intro, but just the choir. Because it feels like the carols are meant to be simple. Just very simple, sung by everyone. And all of the examples that I find on the internet, just they have to put their own spin on it. They have to get fancy with it. It just doesn't feel right.
Yeah, they're way overproduced.
If you understand what I'm saying.
I
Yep.
do. And this is when I wish David Stewart could be with us again, because he has a degree in music and he's been a working musician. But his kid's sick, so I understand.
Right at Christmas, too. That
Yeah.
sucks.
Yeah, it's just a cold, but still, no fun.
Well, when a kid gets sick, they get sick.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what with. Though ear infections are just the worst.
Oh, yeah. I had one a little while ago.
I had 2 this year.
Same year or different years?
This year.
Oh, sorry, I mean ears, not ears. Like, was it both barrels at the same time,
Oh.
or like left ear, right ear, then alternating, or what?
Both of them, same time, both times.
Oof.
Just it. Yeah, there was a particularly heavy amount of pollen in our area this year, and I guess it just backed up my sinuses, and yeah, not fun.
I mean, yeah, I'm prone to those too for the same reason.
Well, that's life.
Yep.
What doesn't kill you and all that.
But I'm glad you're recovered.
As am I.
Good news.
Being sick is no fun at all. You can't do anything except lay in bed all day, and you feel too bad to even enjoy that.
Yeah, that's the crowning indignity, isn't it?
You're forced to do nothing and hate it. Ugh.
A lot of love for Oh Holy Night in chat. See, we got the classiest chat on the
That's-
internet.
Oh, Holy Night is a very good one, as is Silent Night. Although, maybe it's just my inner Prussian, but I rather prefer the German one. Stille Nacht.
Oh, he's gonna go right for that crystal. Watch him. Yep. That's okay. We need him live. Although not having a black mage, I cannot do the frog thing, but my knight has power broken him to the point where the goblin on the right only does 1 HP damage every time. So he will not be a threat.
Is the power break permanent or turn-based?
Permanent.
Oof.
Yeah, that's why knights are bad news. They can permanently destroy your equipment, which goes beyond the battle. You just have to go buy more. They can break your speed, your defense, your offense for an entire battle. But their abilities are really expensive. Go ahead.
I was making some assumptions, but I assumed that the power break and such resets after a battle.
It does, yeah.
Okay. Looks
Okay.
like someone says they do the German version of Silent Night at their church. Very nice. Yeah, it's always good when they break out the traditional stuff. Do Catholics do the candlelight service for Christmas Eve?
How do you mean?
Because all the Protestant churches I've been to have done. At some point in the service, for a set of songs, they turn out the lights, light candles, and sing the songs that way.
It probably depends, like, on the parish and whether they're celebrating, like, Tridentine or Novus Ordo. Like, I have vague memories of being in church and that happening sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah, liturgically.
I guess that might be more of a Protestant thing.
Now, we do
I like
have a liturgy during Lent called Tenebrae, which commemorates Christ being laid in the tomb, and it begins with the church completely dark, no electric lights on, like the windows closed, all of the candles out, and like one by one, slowly they light candles, and or at the Easter Vigil, they light the Paschal candle from a bonfire made from the palms blessed on the previous Palm Sunday, and then every one in the congregation is holding a candle, and it's lit from the Paschal candle and then spreads throughout the church, and they process up to the altar. So yeah, we do tons of stuff with candles. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say that we also have tenebrae services, but I can't remember if we do the candle lighting for that one as well.
Okay.
I'm Missouri Synod. We keep to a lot of the same stuff. Ash Wednesday, Lent. Not quite to the same extent, but it is a part of the calendar.
Michaelmas, Shrove Tuesday, Ember Days. I'm just messing with you.
Couldn't speak to those. I mean, at this point, isn't every single day of the year multiple liturgical holidays?
Oh yeah, I mean,
Of some form or another.
well, because of the saint feast days, I mean, they have to double up, right?
Yeah. Yeah, oh, there are how many saints at this point?
I don't think
So-
anyone knows, honestly.
Yeah. So,
Because I mean, there's so many pre-congregation, right, that predate the canonization process.
right.
Yeah. I don't know. There's probably an official list because, like, there's the Roman Martyrology, but I'm pretty sure even that one doesn't have all of them. Could be wrong. I mean, I'm a systematic theologian, not like a liturgist or a hagiographer. But I'm pretty sure
I'm a
that
philosopher and historian, so this is well outside my wheelhouse.
well, you're keeping up. See Bradford Walker.
I'm
Oh, go ahead. Then I'll get to Bradford. Go ahead.
So I'm a member of the Lutheran Church Missouri Synod. There are 3 main synods in if you ever see anything about female clergy or LGBT stuff or this Lutheran pastor sports portion, that's the Evangelical Lutheran Church of America. We did as we do and schismed from them back in the 70s over that whole sexual revolution nonsense. And then there's the even more ultra right-wing one. I believe it's the Milwaukee Synod. They're cool. I attended one of those churches for a few months when I was in an area where it was that or the ELCA. And since the ELCA are a bunch of heretics, I'm not setting foot in one of those churches.
Good policy.
Yep.
And Bradford Walker in chat says, Missouri Synod, the only one I know of is the United Church of Christ, and are often reviled as being ultra right-wing. Or was that what you just addressed?
UCC is left of ELCA. So are they ultra right wing or ultra left?
I don't know.
I'm confused.
Oh, well.
Anyway. Yeah, as far as the variety goes, I'm an intellectual jack of all trades. I know a little bit of everything, but I don't know any of it particularly well.
A fox, not a hedgehog.
going to have to break that one down for me.
Oh, well, there are two kinds of people. Foxes and hedgehogs. Okay. Foxes know lots of little things. Hedgehogs know one big thing. Yeah, don't ask me what
makes sense.
tradition. Yeah, don't ask me where that comes from. But yeah, so I've heard.
Foxes and hedgehogs, I should imagine.
Touché.
I do like the, the expression "jack of all trades, master of none." Apparently, there's a second part to the phrase, but a jack of all trades may sometimes be better than a master of one.
Hmm. I had not heard that.
For everything in life, there is a place.
Amen.
So. Oh, I had not about the UCCs. Okay.
Oh no, they're talking about Sonic in chat now. Oh dear.
No, we have to stop them.
Burn it. Gotta burn the infection out.
Yeah, actually. Yeah. I found that nothing ruins the enjoyment of a thing faster than trying to find the fandom for it.
Yeah. Are you familiar with? Are you familiar with mop theory?
Am I familiar with
Mop theory.
mop theory?
Yeah, like mop and bucket. JD Cowan could explain it better.
I don't think I have.
Yeah, JD could explain it better if he's still here. But it's kind of what he said from my recollection, which is okay. So you have a scene, all right, or I suppose better to say that there's an act, okay, like an artist or an act. Like usually think this applies to local bands, okay, and they start attracting an audience, and eventually they build a scene around them, okay. So the early adopters, like the guys who are like, well, I liked them before they were popular, right?
Right.
So they tend to just be into it because they're actually into it. Like maybe they're aside from the family and friends, they like the band's sound. But eventually it reaches a point of critical mass where you start getting posers coming in who don't necessarily appreciate the music, but they like the social capital of being seen to like the band or like the entire scene, as it were. And then it's those guys who usually start complaining about others' behavior and trying to like tone police them and come up with codes of conduct eventually.
So is there room in this theory for the semi to actually autistic people who are just way too into whatever it is?
Yes, always.
Okay.
Wow, she did a lot of damage.
Because those are the ones that really...
Yeah.
Honestly, even the tone police or whatever, I can tolerate those more because they're purely parasitic to the thing's popularity.
Mm-hmm.
It's the ones that just in some cases base their entire identities off of liking this thing. or they just get way too into it, or they're focused on enjoying this thing in the right way, and all of these other people are enjoying it the right way.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Oh, Kingdom Hearts ain't that much safer. If you're looking for a safe subject, you might want to keep
That's
looking.
the joke.
Okay.
Then I'll switch to politics.
Yeah, Poe's Law, I can't be too careful.
Much less controversial.
Yeah. So about them Bears. I don't know. I got nothing.
What about them? I assume they're still losing.
Oh, I was going to say hibernating.
Oh.
You meant another kind, didn't you?
Well, you are from that state.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, speaking... So, here's where liturgy and sports ball intersect. Because around here... Your father was busy on Saturday night, didn't have time to write his sermon for Sunday. You can put money down on the likelihood that he's going to mention the Bears during football season just to fill time.
Yeah, my pastor is a Cubs fan. He enjoys finding ways to work those into the sermon every couple months or so. Usually to the effect of, I know tribulations and patience because I've been waiting for the Cubs to win for insert years here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, anime conventions. That's the one I was thinking of. Just anime, I think, is entering a decline phase right now because it always had its problems, and I'm not even going to bring up the problematic portions of it, even though in this one instance the feminists actually do have a good point in a lot of areas. It's just the freaking weebs, man.
It's the weebs.
It's the part where they will just let it become their entire identity, and they will watch literally anything, regardless of the quality, and act like it's the greatest thing ever. So because they're content to feed off trash, the industry just keeps serving up formulaic trash. And that's where this whole isekai nonsense comes in. It starts with a couple of IPs which do it well and are actually fairly imaginative for the time. They get popular, and then suddenly every single story has to be the exact same carbon copy nonsense.
See, I don't want to date myself, but I got into anime at the tail end of the bubble economy boom, when a group of animation students operating out of a shed could get money from an angel investor and make an OAV. Like a nice, actually edgy, squicky 90s OAV at 60 frames a second with nice deep color, like deep reds. Mixed by that one guy that did all the paint for all the anime before he suffered a massive heart attack and retired. And it would be about, I don't know, demons with chainsaws or something. Who knows? And you could get anything made.
Cool.
Yeah, they just... the sky was the limit on ideas. And then... Well, really quick, right around... I don't know if you noticed this, but like right around the turn of the aughts, just overnight, someone threw a switch and was like, okay, welcome to pastel, computer-drawn, poorly animated hell, where everything is the same.
Well, that's a matter of market pressures, which, to address your point, Mr. Walker, yes, there's a lot of factors, but the overseas fans being fanatic is a major part of it, because like any industry, well, any non-political industry, anime responds to market pressures. So if there's a demand for a product, the product will be made.
And my theory... Oh, go ahead.
You will make as much product as you can to fill the demand for as little cost as possible, which in this case means cheap, poorly written, mass-produced slop that fans will still gobble up.
Yeah, my theory is that Japanese business people are naturally risk-averse, and that was alleviated a bit during the bubble economy, when money was just flowing like water. But after it popped, they got extra conservative, and yeah, now they're just all in on, let's just copy what's popular. I mean, it's the reason the Combat Frame Exceed exists, okay? Because I noticed that, okay, all Japanese mecha shows are now either clones of Evangelion, or they're clones of Gundam, or they are Gundam. In Secula Seculorum. Amen. Time to change that.
World without end.
Yep.
Yeah. And then there's the Watchmen syndrome, Evangelion syndrome, Game of Thrones syndrome, where someone does a brilliant subversion of the tropes which have become ossified in a given industry. And it is quite brilliant as a subversion. The problem is that subversions are only brilliant the first time, and soon everyone else decides to jump in on it to the point where the subversion is itself the prevalent trope. Like when Disney decided to do their what if the prince was actually the villain thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, that was a cool twist the first time they did it, but now if a prince shows up in a Disney film, he's the secret villain. Ooh, who could have guessed?
Yeah. Oh, okay. First of all, checking on the chat here. Hey, Fiona Wolf. Good point, Bradford. Also, okay, JD, you're here. Can you please explain mop theory to us? Because I think I'm getting it mixed up with other sociocultural theories here. Much appreciated. Anyway, do go on, Martel.
No, that was my point. Subversion is only brilliant the first time.
It really is, and it can serve a legitimate literary role. Okay? It's what I believe Moore has even said, this is what he was trying to do with Watchmen, was, okay, you take apart something, that's what analysis is. You take something apart to look at its component pieces, to figure out how it works, and to see if you can fit it together in a better configuration. It was the whole point of Doc Manhattan, being a watchmaker. Okay, that was kind of an author insert. Right, so that's what he's trying to do. Yeah. And he did, but the reason he's kind of disavowed it is everyone else missed that fact and took exactly the wrong lesson from Watchmen, which was, oh hey, deconstruction is cool, let's just deconstruct everything. Let's deconstruct the deconstruction, and the deconstruction of the deconstruction of the deconstruction. You know, there's just goo left.
Yeah. And George R. R. Martin doesn't even have that noble aspiration. He's just... I say this a lot, but as a historian, everything he does is just taking little moments from actual history and then making them crap. The part that sticks out to me is the So the Butcher King of Astapor, I don't know if you've read the books at all or know anything about him.
Sadly, yes.
Okay, so the Butcher King of Astapor, the one where Daenerys sweeps in, liberates the city, leaves, and they elect a butcher to be the king.
Mm-hmm.
And then they get besieged by the slavers, I think, the Marine. Long siege, much starvation, disease, deprivation, people die. So they decide to throw it all in one last roll of dice, looking up to give battle to the slaver. Only the king is dead and has been for some time. So they prop his corpse up on a horse to lead the army.
Oh no.
And then it falls over, in the middle of battle. It splits open and everyone can see that it's been dead for weeks. And so the slave army morale collapses and the slavers come in, take the city, kill all the men, women, and yada yada yada. That was an actual historical incident with El Cid,
which relates to Final
legendary
Fantasy.
Spanish soldier, the Reconquista. They actually propped his corpse up in a situation exactly like that in a battle against the what was the name of the Spanish Caliphate? Starts with an A.
And wasn't it El Andalus?
No. It was in Andalus, but yeah, and the myth or legend of El Cid was so strong, his forces routed the besieging. It was a stunning victory, and he was dead when he was in command of it. So George R. R. Martin comes in, looks at that, and says, okay, but what if everything sucked? A deconstruction of the fantasy tropes of heroism, I can sort of understand if it's fantastic, but now you are taking actual historical events and rewriting them for your own agenda.
Oh, and I think it was the Caliphate of
Almoradov's thinking,
Cordoba. Was Cordoba the name we're looking for?
Possibly.
Oh well, sorry to derail you, but yeah. Yeah, I must have overlooked that one.
Oh, the Umayyads.
Oh, the Umayyad, okay.
Sorry.
Yes, gotcha.
The Umayyad Caliphate. That was what I was thinking of.
But yeah, I didn't know that Martin did that with The Legend of El Cid. By the way, in every Final Fantasy game, there is a character named Cid. Spelled the same way, C-I-D.
Awesome.
Yeah, there's one in this one too, who is awesome and is directly based on El Cid.
Nice. But
yeah,
that was the incident where I just flipped my lid.
I bet.
Because and it's also the thing that irritates me where people compare it to Lord of the Rings or C.S. Lewis in The Last Battle. And they're going like, oh, it's so gritty and realistic and it captures how life actually is. And C.S. Lewis and J.R.R. Tolkien fought in the Somme.
Yeah.
They were in the trenches in World War I.
Right?
On the front line. Which of the two do you think has the better grasp of human nature? Oh, and let's not forget that they were both in the home too, so they were dodging German during the Blitz.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you're looking for a portrayal of heroism or valor or human nature, what's going to be the better one? The person who lived through the closest thing to hell on earth that the human race has ever been able to make, or the guy who was a draft dodger in Vietnam?
Yeah, I think a lot of us have seen the epic rap battle of history between those two, and the results are clear.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's
JD,
also...
Sorry, JD is explaining, clarifying here. Mob theory conflates normies with posers and gives credit to fanatics for creating things, Fanatics do the heavy lifting, the normies invade, then everything eventually falls apart. Okay, thank you. Go ahead.
No, I hate Game of Thrones. I hate everything about Game of Thrones, and I hate the people who constantly talk about Game of Thrones as though it's great. Which, honestly, the Game of Thrones series ended exactly how I hoped it would end. I had hoped when everyone was talking about, when people were naming their kids Daenerys, I hoped that Game of Thrones would have such a terrible ending that everyone would leave dissatisfied and it just instantly stop talking about it.
Wait, did the last book come out?
It ended. No, the series. TV series.
Oh, I forgot TV existed for a second. Okay.
Yeah, that was the thing that popularized it, and it surpassed my wildest dreams.
Well, I have no idea.
So terribly that I walked
have no
into
idea
the
how it
office the weekend after it premiered.
Yeah.
Awful. It ended so badly that I walked into the office the weekend after that finale aired, and they'd been talking it up like, oh yeah, they're still going to salvage it. It can still end well. They had been talking nonstop about the series finale for months, and the office was just silent. The only comment they offered was, well, that sucked. And then they just stopped talking about it entirely. It was great.
That is an important data point right there, because I've invested a great deal of time and thought in trying to find ways to deprogram people from the pop cult, which it sounds like your office was just a hive of. And it seems like maybe giving the cultists in Hollywood enough rope to hang themselves, like just letting them carry their lack of talent and their need to constantly deconstruct to its logical ultimate conclusion, is what we need. Just let the thing run its course and burn itself out.
Yeah, and I don't think that there will ever be a final book in the series until and unless Martin dies and they pull Robert Jordan and bring someone else in to finish it.
It'll be
I
Brandon
think
Sanderson.
he was waiting.
What do you think he was waiting
he's
for?
actually a decent author.
Yeah.
I think that Sanderson's a decent author. He might be able to do something with it. But no, I think Martin was waiting until that TV finale aired to release it because he was waiting to see if the show writers would screw things up so he could specifically avoid it. And then he came to the realization that there is no good way to end the story, because his entire series has been premised on everything sucks, everything is awful. Oh, you thought this guy was the good guy? Well, ha ha, screw you. And the audience likes to think that they like it, but deep down inside, they still want the good guys to win.
Oh, yeah.
So, the only way to do that would be a sudden, stupid Deus Ex Machina completely out of line with the rest of the story. Or he continues with the everything sucked. And I'd be okay with an ending where the Night King just kills everyone, but most people wouldn't. So, and also that would require a Wagnerian level of epic thought to do a proper Götterdämmerung, which he is incapable of.
No, he's not. He's capable of making sly, nod and wink homages to, like, Marvel superheroes.
Yeah.
And just ripping off the War of the Roses.
War of the Roses, everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Jan, trebuchets in front of your infantry. Please don't get me started on the Battle of Winterfell, because I will literally never stop.
I will not do that.
Why would you have your trebuchets in front of your archers, in front of your infantry, in front of your castle walls?
But I didn't do anything. Why?
I know.
Well, look. It is amazing to me because I've read all the books up until the most recent one that's out, right? And I watched like the first 2 or 3 seasons of the show before just realizing, okay, yeah, I see where this is going. I made the same conclusion you did. Like they've written themselves into a corner. They ain't getting out of here clean. So I just stopped. And yeah, I vaguely remember when everyone I knew was talking about it, but it is crazy how that just stopped. Again, like someone threw a switch. Things just... That is the thing that I notice with these pop cult IP skin suits. They're really good at getting an initial big turnout. They're really good at like opening day. They're horrible at staying power. They can't create anything that has cultural traction. Avatar being my go-to example. Remember that? Like the biggest thing in the world?
Certainly no one else does.
Oh, burn. Yeah, for like 5 minutes. Everybody was obsessed with it. There were reports of people killing themselves out of despair that real life couldn't be like that movie. And now it's gone. It's just gone.
Seriously? Wow. Okay, yeah, see my point about fanatics.
Indeed.
But the only good part of the film was Colonel Quaritch.
Yeah, the hero.
Yep. No, it... Well, obviously we have to address the elephant in the room. Is Marvel the ultimate in skin suit IPs, which I think that it's on its way out. Like, you have the fanatics, but right now their energy seems like a star when it started consuming the heavier elements in its core, and it's about to just go supernova and die. Because, like, Iron Man comes out, they did something new with that. It was interesting. It was a good movie. The other Marvel movies start coming out, fairly formulaic, but it's fun. It's fun, and sometimes all that you want from something is that it's fun.
That's the one thing.
Avengers comes out. This was back before. Yeah. Well, I'm saying that sometimes it can just be fun. Sometimes you don't need a deeper meaning or some navel-gazing reflection on reality or anything. Sometimes you can just sit back, turn your brain off, eat some popcorn, and have a good time with your friends.
You're here.
And that was what the early Marvel films were. And that's what they're still trying to be, but Avengers comes out back when Joss Whedon, well, before he was shown to be just a complete But honestly, fun film. Good fight scene at the end, and really all you want out of it. Then they just start releasing more and more and more movies to the point where before it was one per summer, so it was the summer blockbuster, and then it was 2 or 3 or even 4 per year. To the point where most people just didn't watch all of them. Then you get to Infinity War, which was where I stopped watching because, honestly, pretty good film. I think that it did what it was supposed to. The problem is that there was no possible way to resolve it in a satisfying manner. I predicted when Infinity War came out, the next film is going to end with the Avengers somehow reassemble the Infinity Gauntlet, they do a reverse Thanos snap, undo everything that Thanos did except for a few actors that Marvel's trying to get rid of who will remain permadead. And nothing at all will have changed. And that's exactly what happened. So I didn't bother. Again, The Office, I said that I wasn't going to watch Endgame, and I predicted that was going to be what would happen. The next Monday, one of my coworkers walks in, very carefully, doesn't look at me. I look over at him, kind of smirk, and go, "So?" And he looks at me, sighs, looks down, says, "You were right about everything."
Great to hear, isn't it?
And he was disappointed by it. Yeah. And now that I've seen some clips from the Eternals or the Legend of the Five Rings or whatever, every single fight scene just looks like this boring CGI, overly saturated blue and orange, more to the point, utterly weightless affair. It's a little choreographed dance where there's no weight, there's no momentum, there's no impact to it. It's just a bunch of people doing flips and oversaturated blues and oranges and CGI. So, even though it seems unstoppable right now, I don't think Marvel has more than another 2 or 3 years in it. I mean, Star Wars seemed unstoppable, and look where that ended up.
Are they even doing anything with that anymore? See, I'm kind of glad we had...
They're doing the TV shows, which didn't suck.
Yeah, I'm glad you're here, because I have
Sorry,
just...
I mean,
No, you're fine. I have just tuned out from everything. Like, the last MCU movie I saw was Civil War. And I just stopped caring. The last Star Wars movie I saw was Force Awakens. And I don't watch TV. Yeah, so, okay, wow. Did that one piss you off as well? Like it pissed me off?
I just hated the complete lack of originality to it. It was almost a beat-for-beat recreation of the first Star Wars film, with a few scenes from the other films.
Yeah, it was.
And then they took all of the iconic scenes that they hadn't done in that film, and apparently they threw them into The Last Jedi, which left them with nothing else to rip off for the final film, which... Ugh.
And they didn't understand why they were stealing what they were stealing from 1977 Star Wars. Like, for example...
It was a cargo cult Star Wars.
Yes, exactly. My favorite example, because it uses the visuals, right? Visual language of film.
Yep.
Is clearly J.J. Abrams reviewed the first Star Wars and thought, okay, it opens with that classic scene of the blockade runner fleeing the Star Destroyer, which then just flies overhead forever. And you think, oh, okay, it's done. Oh, wait, no, we're only third done. Wow, it's still going. And right there in that one scene, it tells you everything you need to know about the Rebellion and the Empire. Everything.
Yeah.
And he didn't understand that. He didn't understand why it worked. So, instead, he thought, okay, people like to see the outline of a Star Destroyer flying in front of the camera, so we will use the bow of the Star Destroyer eclipsing the moon. Oh, and it happens to have like a cross on the front, because
I didn't even notice that part.
Oh yeah, look up the shot. And like,
I'd
again, this
rather
doesn't.
not, if it's all the same.
Yeah, that's fine. Like this doesn't tell me anything. Also, it's so dark I can't quite understand what's going on. It's nothing intelligible. What is this supposed to tell me?
I just hated the entire Starkiller base then. But in the first film, the Death Star was a reveal. The entire point of the movie was the Death Star. It was the sword of Damocles looming over everything. And in this one, it's, oh hey, the First Order guys built an entire planet that can destroy entire star systems. Oh hey, here's the weak point. We have it. Don't ask why, but we have it. Well, I guess we've got to do a trench run. Okay, kaboom.
Yeah.
That's the extent of consideration given to the whole Starkiller base thing. And they wait until 40 minutes in to even mention it, whereas in the first film, the opening crawl talks about the Death Star. They very clearly talk about it being the Death Star plans that are at stake here.
Yep. Total failure of storytelling. Although...
And there's the part where TR-8R had more character development in 5 seconds than the rest of the cast did in the entire film.
Yeah, including Finn, which honestly is my big sticking point. Like, that is what made me want to rage quit the movie, was their total failure of characterization with him. Because, okay. Let's look at Finn. So, okay, he has been raised, he's an orphan who's been raised in this military organization and trained to be a stormtrooper. The First Order is all he's ever known of a family. And they drive that home when the death of one of his compatriots makes him question his life, right?
Right.
And then 5 minutes later...
Get to see beneath the stuff.
Yeah, then 5 minutes later, he is gunning down his brothers, his family, like a sociopath.
Yeah, well, that's why the TR-8R scene was so... That was actually pretty good.
Yeah, and...
Or where the stormtrooper just shouts, "Traitor."
Yeah, and he's right. And he's the real hero.
Yes. Also, let's not forget that he starts out with a blaster and shield, tosses them aside, because why would you need a ranged weapon for a sword fight? Pulls out a shock baton, goes toe-to-toe with the guy with a lightsaber, and wins.
Yeah, and
They should have made the movie about him.
Yeah, and I fully believe it was unintentional. That was just all accidental characterization.
Oh, absolutely. And then there was the fight at the end where Kylo Ren, who trained Sith acolyte, curb stomped Finn, which you would expect, because he is a trained Sith acolyte who's been at this for years and was trained by Luke Skywalker before he turned to the dark side, whereas Finn is a stormtrooper. And then, right after he finishes curb stomping the trained stormtrooper, some desert waif comes in and kicks his ass.
Do we even have to mention her? We all know what the score is there, but yes, you're completely right.
Yeah.
And at this point, we're beating Elcide's dead horse.
Yeah, we are rehashing stuff. So
we are re-prosecuting
talking about other stuff. Yep.
That's okay.
Yeah, Galaxy's Edge, honestly, not a big fan of. The first 4 books were good, I thought. What?
I was going to ask if you meant the theme park ride, like the Disney attraction, but no, you mean the Nicole and Jason Ansbach series. Well, that's shots fired around here,
they
man.
called that Galaxy's Edge. Honestly, I really liked the first 4, 5 books. Really loved. The first Galaxy's Edge was great. Stormtroopers in Afghanistan. You really don't need more than that.
Nope.
However, without getting too far into spoilers, it felt like a narrative backstop. Like the first 4 or 5 books were setting up one thing, and then the writers looked at it, were horrified by where the story had to go, and then tried to find a way to resolve the story without following through on their promise, which, bringing it back to the conversation about Game of Thrones, they couldn't do. So the denouement just fell flat.
Yeah, you're not the first one that I've heard mention that. I still haven't read past book 2.
And I both agree on that.
Yeah. Now,
Attack of Shadows, very good. I like that one.
And Nick Cole's a
Imperator,
friend of the
also
show.
good.
He's been on Geek Gab multiple times before. He's a fellow Dragon Award winner. He's a great guy. Now, writers talk. We're kind of a close-knit industry, and New Pub's no exception. So I am privy to some things that went on behind the scenes of Galaxy's Edge. And you're not the only one who picked that up, who picked up on those issues, and they were kind of between a rock and a hard place. I think it had to do with like the rapid fire release schedule. They were releasing a book every 60 or sometimes every 30 days. And there wasn't a lot of time for like the kind of careful architect outlining that like I do. And
Right.
like honestly, they had a winning formula, so there comes a point where you have to say, okay, well, people are eating this up with a spoon. Do we really want to reinvent the wheel? Do you see what I'm saying? And I'm not throwing shade at anybody. It's just you've got to balance artistic and business decisions. Some people land on one side of the fence, some people on the other, and it's okay, right?
Yeah, I'm just saying that for myself, it fell flat. And the interesting thing is, I quite enjoy Nick Cole's other stuff, like Soda Pop Soldier. I actually like that.
I'm
They
a
managed
Control
to
Alt
do
Revolt fan myself.
Ready. That also a good one. Honestly, I like that because they managed to do the Ready Player One style rapid fire references without it being Ready Player One. Which, to this day, there is a certain friend of mine or colleague, who recommended Ready Player One. It was like, yeah, it's cool. It's like, it's got D&D in it and all that stuff. It was also on a certain reading list that was supposed to be good, but I felt a profound sense of betrayal at about page 10. It was bad. Leaving aside the politics part, like where he says, yeah, when I was 10 years old, I figured out that there was no... Wow. 10 years old, you managed to figure out the thing that's been paralyzing the human race for most of its existence. Freaking good for you. No, it was the part where they literally spent half a page just listing out stuff from the 80s. I think the only verb in that entire paragraph, was knew, as in, I knew 8 lines of text that are just 80s IPs.
Oof. Oh, by the way, to draw your attention to the screen, here's how you change jobs. Just go to the job change menu. Ooh, she has Summoner available now. But
Wizard.
I'm going to go Priest, so I can unlock Oracle, and eventually Calculator. And I only need one more level of Priest. Anyway, just wanted to show you that since you asked earlier.
Wow, that's no penalties, no price, no nothing. Just change it off.
Yeah, everybody can multi-class basically, because then you get to you can fill these slots. So this is the same menu that the character has as an action menu in combat, and you can fill them with any ability that you've learned from any class you know. So I can give
That's pretty
priest
cool.
time magic, mix and match,
Huh.
just like that.
I continue to be impressed by this game.
Glad to hear it. I mean, it's an impressive game.
Again, all the more so for the time that it was made.
Let's see. I think I'm gonna go with the.
Just because there are some severe limitations imposed by the technology of the time.
Oh yeah, I mean this is a PS1 game and playing it on a PlayStation 2, but I mean it started production in like 1993 and came out in '97.
Yeah.
So they found some clever solutions to some problems. It's looking good. I'm gonna need to buy some more stuff.
Let's see. What else did I say? Ember War. I liked that a lot, actually. I thought that was very solid. Galaxy Ascendant. I read the first book, and then I think that I actually read that when the first book was the only one that had come out. There are 7 books now? Okay. I need to catch up on that. Rawl says he's dipping out, so
Oh, good night, Rawl.
take care. Merry Christmas.
Hey, Merry Christmas, buddy. Yeah, no, I haven't really been advancing the plot of the game much the last 2 sessions, but I haven't had time to do grinding between shows because I was working on the RPG, which is now done. So hopefully we can pick up the pace a little. But I also wanted more of my co-hosts to be around to experience the epic story. And I certainly hope you can be in future. Because I think you're going to dig where this
I
goes.
certainly hope to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Chan is going to talk up Fire Emblem. Oh boy. I happen to like Three Houses quite a lot. I thought that they did a lot of stuff to, well, in the first case, bring the series back to where it came from, and in the second place, improve on the series. Because how much you know about Fire Emblem?
Nothing.
Okay. So you've got Fire Emblem 7 and 8, which are classics. Although I've only played 7 of those. Then you have the DS Fire Emblems, which the first one was pretty good. That was Fire Emblem Awakening. Pretty good. And then you get Fire Emblem Fates, which is legendary in the community for all the wrong reasons. It is a bad joke. Just never play it at all. The story is terrible. The characters range from clowns to whose edgy 14-year-old emo Tumblr self-insert fanfic was this?
Oof.
And the game system was honestly bad. I did not care for the level design, the actual mechanics. They made a bunch of changes, which there were a couple of things that worked, and most of it that didn't. Then there was Tales Tales of Valencia, Shadows of Valencia, I forget, which was itself a remake of a much earlier Fire Emblem. That one was quite well received. Yeah, Chance, as Chance said, Face is what happens when you take everything wrong with anime and add it to a game. It was that bad. And then you got Three Houses, which was very good. Solid story, good setting, characters that range from fairly one-dimensional, this is their personality feature, it's what they are, to actual fleshed-out people. And game systems which work quite well. And they added a few things in which, much to the surprise of everyone, were fun and added a new dimension onto things. Like battalions. And for J.D. Cowan saying turned into waifu emblem, you realize that the games have always been waifu emblem. But they have never not been waifu emblem.
Yeah, I've never played any of those, but they have come highly recommended.
You'd probably like Fire Emblem. Like, if you're going to do another retrospective, Fire Emblem 7 would actually be a really good follow-up for a compare and contrast.
Ah, okay. Sorry, and that was which one again?
Yeah, between 7 and 8, I would say that was Sacred Stones, or I keep getting the two mixed up.
Yeah, that's okay. I can look it up.
Fire Emblem, the Blazing Blade, which okay, yeah. Fire Emblem, the Blazing Blade, which is Fire Emblem 7. That's a good one.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind.
Not quite as broken as Final Fantasy Tactics can be gameplay-wise, which some games you want that, some games you don't.
Exactly. Let's check this out.
All right.
Yeah. I just like that one.
Nifty.
Okie doke. I have a thief that doesn't have any thief skills yet. So I'm just going to throw a rock. I got him good.
Good time.
Yeah, this battle should unlock Oracle. Then I think that'll be a good stopping point. I think I'll kill everyone except the human archer over there. Because let's see, can he break her equipment yet? Ah, no. Okay, then I'll kill her and leave the goblin alive.
All right.
Yeah, I really think you'll either really appreciate the story of this game when it really gets going, or hate it. Because it's kind of like Game of Thrones done correctly, but still kind of deconstructive, still kind of subversive, but in the innocent might be the right word, Japanese way, right? Because it's European medieval history seen through a Japanese lens.
Okay.
You'll see.
I guess. Yeah, I don't know if I just overanalyze stuff, but I think the part which really turned me off to Subversion is how just absolutely predictable it gets. Like I mentioned with the Disney twist villains. Oh, hey, this guy seems like a good guy, classical prince type. I'll bet that he's the bad. Yep, he's the bad guy. Or George R. R. Martin. Oh, this character is popular, likable. They seem to be having a lot of stuff to do in the coming wars, and they're dead.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the typical Japanese throw, which I don't understand why it keeps coming out, but it's like, oh, the final boss is actually God, the world is an illusion, or whatever, secretly created by him. So the final task of all of the characters is to kill God, and then they all get reincarnated into modern present-day Earth. I don't know why that's so popular, but I keep seeing it.
Yeah, I will say that this game does end up having elements of that, but not the most odious ones. And it does it a bit more intelligently. You'll see.
Yeah, because that was the entire plot of Final Fantasy XIII, which came out of left field and also, well, Final Fantasy XIII, Asura's Wrath, everything in Shin Megami Tensei. And I just cannot figure out why that's so popular? Common?
Such a trope.
Are the Japanese just prone to Gnosticism? Is it all that Buddhism?
I don't know. It would make a great topic of research. I'd love to see a paper about that. But I couldn't tell you. Chat might have some ideas. That's it. Let's ask them.
Alright, chat, what do you think? Why is that?
Yeah, where does this storytelling conceit found across Japanese media for video games to manga to anime of, oh, the big bad is actually God, or failing that, some kind of demiurge, or like emanation of the collective unconscious masquerading as God, and yeah, so you've got to kill him. You've got to kill God. Like all of history's been a lie. You know how it goes. Oh, and usually, and the main villain's ultimate plot is to destroy everything and turn everything to nothing. That's it. He's always just like a turbo nihilist.
Yeah. Which is ironic given how Japanese Buddhism developed. Basically, the world is an illusion, you are an illusion, everyone around you is an illusion. Therefore, kill everyone that your lord tells you to kill, and then at the end, kill yourself.
That might have something to do with it, actually.
Yeah. And you saw that taken to its logical conclusion with the kamikazes. And for that matter, the Ikko Ikki, which I think goes back in the 15th or 16th century. Basically a bunch of Buddhist monks, Japanese Buddhist monks, by the way, lived in their monasteries up in the mountains, and frequently just came down to kill, burn, raid, and take everything from villages back to their monasteries. So the Ikoiki were a bunch of Japanese Buddhist monks getting a bunch of peasants and launching banzai charges against samurai with predictable results.
Let's see here. JD says they're projecting their bad experiences with Shintoism and crooked priests onto Christianity. Bradford Walker adds, yes, the Japanese are prone to it due to its cultural and religious traditions, as it shares many, assuming it means Gnosticism, many other Eastern cultures due to shared Buddhist influence. The bomb did not help this, I imagine not. Fiona Wolf speculates maybe that's the Japanese side of the deconstruction train. Can't seem to shake it. Yeah, and like JD says, it goes back to the 90s and took hold, never went away. Yeah, why?
I do notice.
We have kept something else from the 90s and anything else. Go ahead.
Yeah, I do notice that if God, capital G, pops up in Japanese media, there's this tendency to just portray them as a god that simply happens to be a lot more powerful than most of the other gods.
Right,
rather
yeah.
than something fundamentally different or above gods.
It could be their experience of animism making it difficult for them to wrap their heads around the idea of transcendence. I mean, to the extent that one can. But when you equate the divine with the universe, the idea of, well, no, there's something above and beyond the universe. Like, oh, okay, so like the biggest thing in the universe. No, it's not in the universe. What? That could be it.
Right. The old Dawkins gotcha of, can God make a rock so big that he cannot lift it?
No, he cannot. Simple theological answer to that.
Well, he can both create and move an object of infinite size. So once the scale becomes infinity, then... And atheists, being materialists, are incapable of conceiving of infinity. But heck, even the Greeks understood that there was a God. They just, well, capital G, they just figured that, as Aristotle put it, being pure apprehension, it does not take notice of anything in the physical world, even though the physical world is entirely created. Since they were coming at it from an intellectual rather than a personal angle.
Yeah. See, that appeal to infinity, that's a great response. What I was going for is, okay, so God is omnipotent. Omnipotence doesn't mean, classically, the ability to do anything imaginable. Rather, it is the ability to do anything which can be done. So not being able to do the impossible is no detriment to omnipotence. We have to make a distinction.
God is the one who sets the laws of the universe. So if there were a higher law that bound God, he would no longer be God. That higher law would be God.
Right, well, and he
Thus,
is...
any form of...
Sorry, go ahead.
Thus, any form of constraint is one which he voluntarily operates under, as with Christ.
I'm going to differ slightly, because it's not that the divine law is something like arbitrarily chosen by God. You hit on it. God is his internal decrees. Okay, he is the logos. He is the law. So, Like that would give rise to the questions of, oh, well, could blasphemy be virtuous if God willed it? Well, no, because it's contrary to God's nature. Just like creating a rock so big he couldn't lift it is not in God's nature. Therefore, no, he can't, but that does no violence to his omnipotence.
Yeah. At that point, we're just getting into the philosophical weeds, which your typical Reddit atheist won't.
They're missing
just
out.
Won't be able to understand.
Yeah, they really can.
Yes, but you can bring a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. What I want to touch on with Bradford Walker says, I notice that this narrative trend in Japanese media has a recurring problem with dealing with the issue of sorrow/suffering, and thus the problem of evil.
Hmm. Yeah.
Thoughts?
I can see that. Oh, let me reread what he said. I'm more of a print learner. Yeah, look. This could be low-hanging fruit, but I always find it ironic that fedora tippers use theodicy to bludgeon Christianity when Christianity is the only religion that gives an internally consistent and satisfactory solution to the problem of, if there is a good, all-loving, all-powerful God, then why is there suffering? Well, it's because God can allow lesser evil to bring about a greater good, and through the cross and resurrection of Jesus Christ, he allows us to nail our sufferings to his cross and make it redemptive for ourselves and others through participation in his one eternal sacrifice.
I always heard that say it's a mark of honor if the more sufferings that you are given in life, the higher honor God is giving to you, essentially, for being able to bear them.
That was kind of St. Louis's personal take. Whenever he would have a setback, and I mean, remember, he lost the crusade, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, whenever he had a failing or a setback or something didn't go according to plan, he would just say, okay, well, God has sent this affliction, this tribulation, because of some fault of mine he is unhappy with, and he's calling me to self-examination so that I may amend it with his grace. And he approached everything that way, and he was regarded as
he was a king who became... He was a king who became a saint. That's
pretty rare. And he is in fact regarded as the greatest saint king, like perhaps only King David rivals him, but I mean, St. Louis never committed some kind of personal mortal sin that David did. Yeah, not to throw any shade, but everybody knows about that, right? But yeah, he was regarded as like the ultimate knight, the epitome of chivalry, the model of charity, and I mean, yeah, he is it. He is like the argument for Christian monarchy, right? He actually did rule by serving, and wore a hair shirt, gave to the poor by his own hand, built a personal chapel, had St. Bonaventure come and be his personal sermonist, deliver personal sermons to him and his family, and yeah, I mean, even
held feasts for beggars out of his own private funds.
Yeah, and even he experienced great evil and suffering, and not everything went according to plan, but it just strengthened his faith. Like he made his maxim: do not for 1 second doubt any of the essentials of faith. Like he gave advice to his son that, okay, when you're growing in holiness, Satan is going to redouble his efforts to try to tempt you away from the faith, especially at the hour of your death. But all you do is you turn the tables on him and flip the script and say, look, I would rather be torn limb from limb. I would rather have leprosy than willingly commit one mortal sin. You've lost, be gone.
Yeah.
So he knew how to handle suffering in Christian context. And yeah, and I mean, of course, today's spiritually and culturally impoverished, like especially from a pagan country that's really just secular, liberal, democratic, with really no spirituality, isn't going to get that because there is no physical, material solution to suffering. It makes no sense in a purely material universe.
Well, that was back in the mid to late aughts when all this atheism thing was really a thing. The part that insulted me the most about the Theodicy was that their vision of a loving God seems to be the eternal nanny. A kindergarten teacher who will put padding on everything and just make sure that there's no hardship, no pain, no suffering, none of that. And just keep people in a contented state of childhood and physical pleasure.
Right.
And that not permitting this state of affairs is evil somehow.
Hear, hear. Yeah, that's the mentality. Yeah, just the problem of evil never posed a challenge to me because I go, okay, well, let's just check the Bible. Where's the part where God promises nothing will ever go wrong or hurt you and you will never suffer anything? Oh, wait, it says the exact opposite again and again and again. There are entire books devoted to that very subject. So the argument against God from the problem of evil is always missing a premise, right? It's always, okay, benevolent, all-powerful God, evil, question mark, therefore no God.
Yeah.
I just say so. Like, yes, absolutely loving, God who is love, and all-powerful and all-knowing, and evil. And so what?
And the way I look at it is we did have precisely that state in paradise.
Oh, good point.
And effectively, God loved humanity to the point where he wouldn't force us to be in a state of pure bliss. So he effectively gave us a button that we could press at any time and say that we were dissatisfied with these conditions and we wanted hardship.
Right?
Which we promptly pressed. So, at the start, God gave exactly the conditions that these atheists want. And apparently, our forefathers were so unhappy with that they decided to exit.
Yeah, again, that's what everybody misses.
Actually, it's like that bit in the Matrix where Agent Smith is talking to Morpheus and saying, yeah, the first Matrix, it was perfect. It was great. Every possible need could be met at an instant. And people went insane. We've lost entire swaths of humanity because they simply could not accept perfection.
Yeah, and what Smith was within a hair of grasping was the fall. Like, the part where he says, like, every creature naturally achieves a state of equilibrium with its environment, like, except for humanity. And then he says also viruses, but nah, they really do too. They really do too. So,
well, okay, from an ecological perspective, that's not at all how it works. What he refers to as equilibrium is a population expanding beyond the carrying capacity of its resources, experiencing a die-off, and falling back to sustainable numbers, which then begin to expand.
Yeah, but he didn't have screen time to deliver all that dialogue, so we'll give him a pass,
Fair.
I think. But there is a tendency toward disharmony with the rest of creation that is uniquely only found in man. Like, I think it was Tolstoy called man the inventor of cruelty to animals. Like, a lion will kill, a wolf will kill, right?
Right.
Only human beings hurt their fellow creatures for pleasure, or just for no reason.
Yes. Well, only a human being will feel hate as they do it.
Yeah.
The wolf doesn't hate, he's simply hungry, or frightened, or views you as a threat.
Yeah. So welcome, welcome to the real dark stream, the dark philosophy stream. But I mean, this is how it is. We're not going to candy coat reality for you. It's tough out there, but like Martel said, it didn't have to be. That's really on us. Like, there are two kinds of evil. People overlook two things. One, that there are two kinds of evil, physical and moral. Okay, only moral evil carries imputable culpability in a moral sense. And then the fall. Everybody misses that mankind has fallen. I mean, even Jean-Paul Sartre, the atheist existentialist, said original sin was the only Christian doctrine he fully accepted because it's so self-evident. That he believed in the fall. And it is. He's right.
I mean, I hold that contra. Everyone says that evil is a social construct and people have to be brainwashed into committing atrocities or whatever. No, good is a social construct. People will inherently commit atrocities because we think it's funny. Look at what the Mongols did. Look at what Tamerlane's butchers did. Look at what every single civilization in history has done. And it took, really, Christianity to even conceive of something like the laws of war. Those cultures which never encountered Christianity have no conception of the laws of war. There's an entire... If you've ever watched Fate Stay Night, the anime, there's an entire section where a samurai lectures King Arthur that the very notion of there being laws of war is inherently absurd. The Chinese don't understand it, the Japanese didn't, the Vietnamese didn't. Muslims kind of understand it, but only because they've had to fight Europeans for so long.
Yeah. I mean, and they're an offshoot of Christianity. So it's almost Christian DNA. But yep, also true for the reason you said.
But yeah, people have to be educated to become good. That's not to say that we don't have sympathy or love or affection, but again, even wolves have that.
Yeah, people's consciences need to be formed.
Yep.
I see that JD is ragging on the Christian entertainment scene. Yeah, I mean, that's...
Oh, brother.
Yeah, they're just gatekeepers that make sure that nothing approaching a deeper salutary theological thought gets broadcast.
Yeah. And heaven forfend that we actually draw on Christian history. Like, where's our 3-hour epic about the Battle of Lepanto, or the Battle of Tours, or the Last Stand of Roland?
Looking at you, Mel Gibson.
He did very good work with the Passion of the Christ, must be said.
Yeah, I know. And he's supposed to be doing more Christian movies, like, I think he was supposed to be doing one about Fatima. Could be wrong, but yeah.
Really?
He's supposed to do another one.
They're going to let him do that? I thought he
well,
was
I think he was.
Non-grata.
Like, I think Hacksaw Ridge was like his tryout for being let back in. So, you'll appreciate this, I think. The story goes that he kind of had his Ben Affleck moment where they're like, okay, you bring in big numbers. I mean, heck, he directed what was like the most profitable movie of all time for a while. So like, okay, we'll give you another shot. But you have to do a war movie. So again, they're thinking we're going to make him do like blood and guts and man's inhumanity to man and just all this dour, dark, gritty stuff. And so he goes, okay, I'll do a war movie about a pacifist who kills nobody. And in fact, saves lives. I'll make it awesome. And Vince Vaughn will be there.
Wait, he brought Vince Vaughn was in that movie?
Yeah, he, pretty sure it was Vince Vaughn who plays the sergeant.
It's on the list of things that I need to watch.
Oh, dude, watch it. Yeah. Because I was skeptical.
I've heard great things about it. I just haven't seen it yet. But yeah. Oh, and let's not forget the Siege of Vienna. The moment that inspired the charge of the Rohirrim.
Really? I did not know about that.
60 days. Yeah. 60 days of siege. The defenders are outnumbered. The walls are collapsing. The breach has finally been made. The Sultan's forces are formed up to storm the city and extinguish the Holy Roman Empire. And then at the last possible moment, the winged hussars come in, charge the field, scatter the Janissaries, and turn September 11th into a day of celebration for prison.
Aha!
But you can't write a more gripping drama.
Well, of course, the forces in charge of Hollywood don't want those stories to be told because they don't want Christians to look good. Like their main project is memory holding everything they disagree with in the first place.
Yeah. Well, as we see with World War II. I've mentioned this before, but it's, at this point, the common conception of World War II is more myth than reality. Thanks to Hollywood.
Oh yeah, I'm sure there are many records to be set straight.
Yeah.
Like I did enjoy CL's alternate timeline of like Rommel being recruited by MacArthur instead of executed, and then the two of them like forcibly convert Japan and wage war on the Soviets. Like start a crusade.
That would have been cool. Yeah. MacArthur running for president with Patton as his vice president.
Ooh.
Instead of Eisenhower assassinating Patton.
Whoa, hello. Now I heard rumors to that effect that got any evidence?
Well, okay, it might not have been Eisenhower, it might have been the KGB at the behest of Eisenhower, but just for some data points, a car crash in occupied Berlin the day before he's supposed to go back home. Which in and of itself could be nothing, but it could also be assassins taking their last chance in an area where they're able to control the situation. Right after Patton had been making a bunch of very public comments that we had defeated the wrong enemy and really the only thing left for it now to salvage anything was to turn the guns eastward and keep marching. And 4 days after that, Eisenhower personally attended a victory parade in the Red Square at the site of Stalin.
Oh. Highly sus, gotta say.
Yeah. it. So, I'm pretty sure that Eisenhower had that assassinated, or the Soviets assassinated him, and Eisenhower. Either way.
Wow. It's the noggin jogging.
Yep. There are a lot of inconsistencies with the official narrative. Which, that's another reason why I started questioning all of that stuff, because I have an attention span longer than that of the average goldfish, so I actually remember what they taught us in history class when I was a kid. And I've actually gotten to watch Minitrue rewriting the historical narrative in real time.
Wow.
So, if they're going to change the essential facts that are being taught to school children, when we can still remember what happened, why wouldn't they rewrite history that's out of living?
Okay, wait. JD informs us Mel Gibson is directing the final Lethal Weapon movie. I didn't know they were making another one. And he thinks we're in for something nuts. Right. Oh, yeah. I mean, if Dragged Across Concrete was any indication. Oh, boy.
Well, have you heard about Fat Man?
No. Not the bomb, I take it?
It came out last year.
No.
A movie that came out last year. Mel Gibson plays Santa facing off against a hitman hired to kill him by a bratty kid who received colon for Christmas.
Oh, man, he's back in Beaver territory. Just doing a quirky movie.
I don't know that one.
Oh, look up Mel Gibson's... the one with the puppet.
Okay. Yeah, they play this one completely straight. Rated R.
Oh,
but
wow.
It's kind of hilarious because of that.
Yeah,
it's
same thing.
It's an alright film.
Same thing with Beaver, okay. It's about a man who otherwise is a normal, ordinary family man, but he has a beaver hand puppet, and he will only communicate through it.
Huh.
Yeah, and the ending is pretty intense. All I'm going to say.
Okay. Yeah. I liked The Patriot quite a bit.
Yeah, what's
Very competently done film.
What are some of the highlights for you on that one?
Let's see. Anything involving a battle scene? I'm a man of simple taste with my Revolutionary War films.
Nothing wrong with that. Devin Stack, Black-Pilled, if you're familiar with him. He is a guy who analyzes Hollywood movies and explains the propaganda to normies, because he used to work in the belly of the beast, so he knows exactly how they make their propaganda because he used to help make it. He's got like a video editing and sound editing background. And he used The Patriot not necessarily to illustrate propaganda, but kind of the reverse, right? He was saying, well, this is an honest movie that actually shows how these kind of revolutions or insurrections kind of go, because he shows the scene where Mel Gibson's character finally decides to rebel against the crown when like his sons are killed in front of him.
Right.
And Stack points out, okay, like for those of you who are asking, well, when's it going to be enough? When's the deep state finally going to push enough that Normie is going to wake up in 1776? Will commence again. And Stack says, well, The Patriot gives a good picture and an accurate picture of what it took for 1776 to commence the first time. So, okay, here's Mel Gibson. Like, all right, he's this Virginia planter, and so the British ride up on his house and demand his son because he's committed treason, and that's not enough, right? Mel Gibson's like, well, hold on, let's talk about this, and the British are like, nope, nothing to talk about, hand him over. Then the British order his house and farm burned, and it's still not enough. He's like, no, hey, wait, come on, I'm a law-abiding citizen. I don't have a dog in this fight. Come on, let's be reasonable. And they're like, nope, too late. Then his son shows up, and the British are like, oh, good, let's summarily execute him. And even that's still not enough. Mel Gibson still tries to bargain, and even the point of saying, take me instead, right? He's just a boy, I'm his dad, he's my responsibility, execute me, just please don't execute my son. And they're like, nope, he's a traitor, he's got to be executed. And then I believe his second son runs out there to try to save his brother, and they both get shot down. And only then, that's when they finally press the berserk button. So that's what it's probably going to take this time. And again, not to Fed post, I disavow violence.
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh, hey,
I
Seal.
prefer to avoid that if possible.
Yeah.
Hey guys, surprised to see you still going this late, but I'm happy.
Did you also
I'm surprised to see you this late.
Surprised and glad. And did you also see what I left in the general chat for us?
I did. I made the mistake of consuming Bang far too late in the day.
Ah.
That'll get you.
Cannot recommend the blackberry sweet tea flavor. Would not recommend.
Not recommended there.
I mean, my stimulant of choice is Pervitin.
Mm.
World War II joke for those who get it.
Yeah, how you been?
Radical skedaddle remains my favorite of the flavors. Oh, all right.
How was your day with the family and the festivities and whatnot?
I learned I have not ice skated in a while, and I'm not good at it. Especially when the sizes offered in skates are too large and too small.
Well, it takes a big man to admit it. I take it that was entertaining for the people ice skating with you.
They were amused.
Well, at least that good came out of it. But yeah, I got started a bit late, pushed the start time.
I paid for that.
Sorry, come again?
By golly, I paid for that skate rental, and I was going to suffer through it until the skating session ended.
Nice.
Yeah, right about the time you called me, CL, was, what was it, 35 minutes that we spent trying to fine-tune the audio?
Yeah.
The computer was not cooperating.
Something wasn't. It seemed to start
to front load the tech problems.
Yeah, they just come and go. They seem to start for random reasons. Like I checked everything, even my hardware. I have a list of all the settings that worked the first time, but it seems to just change at random.
Machine spirit's been angered.
Apparently. Someone get me Mars on the phone. Get the Adeptus in here. Got a problem.
Apparently, the Taiwanese have a practice of leaving snacks on top of their server racks. and swapping it out when it gets stale. And apparently this has become such a widespread practice that the company which originally made the favored snack decided to make an entire brand of that snack with special packaging specifically for the offerings to the machine spirits.
I'm not
Do
sure
not
what to say
open
to
it or
that.
you will anger the machine spirits. Yeah, and these are actual major Taiwanese companies doing this.
Wow.
So, yeah. The human spirit will win out over monuments, truly. You can't stop it.
Amen. But yeah, we got started a bit late because I was putting the finishing touches on the Comic Frame Exceed RPG ebook. It's a huge load off my mind.
I can imagine.
And I'm glad to have it done for you guys, so others can enjoy it. Building super war machines and bashing them into each other at high speed. Before you got here, Martel was regaling chat with his tale of taking out Harvester with a Stapfin.
Yeah, it turns out the best weapon of all is just the mass of a combat frame converted to kinetic energy.
I'm just tickled pink that the rules actually work that way. I was really hoping they would.
And they did.
I might have been logged off for that part of that session, but you just kamikazed them, right?
Yep. Well, I realized that it was literally physically impossible to even damage Harvester with the Stopfin's weaponry, so I decided to just convert the Stopfin into a weapon.
You realize you could have bailed out, right? Like, you could have lived.
Yes. But
Just checking.
we were just using but wait, I could have actually?
Yes.
Oh. Well, staying in the combat frame until the last second let me do any last minute.
And just to make sure.
Plus, we all know the risks. We all know the risks of setting your ejection system to automatic.
Doing a kobold.
Yep.
Yeah,
We
for
read
chat.
dollars for manual for a reason.
Yeah, for chat, we did two types of playtest sessions. One where we just picked combat frames and did a general brawl, usually using different rule types to see what fit best. And then a more narrative thing. My character for the narrative things started out as a pilot called Tree Rat and then went to this AI called Kobold. And I just really liked hacking mechs so I could forcibly eject the pilots and then boot the mechs intact. And it got to be such a running joke that we just call a pilot spontaneously ejecting doing a Kobold.
It's
What I love
official.
most about this is that we probably would not have stumbled upon that idea if we hadn't been started in a position of low resources where we needed to try and capture as many combat frames as possible rather than just blowing them up.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm always about piracies. Like, I will put me in any setting and I will figure out a way to either go a Viking, go pirating, some combination of the above, or just loot.
They started
That's
at the
part of
mall, by the way, chat. And look where they ended up. It's the rags to riches story. I will say, pro tip, you may notice because I did include the costs for the mass-produced mecha in the book, and Yeah, they're all 7 figures, so you might wonder, well, wait, how does my ragtag band of jackals afford even a lowly Grenz Mark 1? Well, these 2 guys just gave you a big hint.
Mm-hmm. Also, just remember, pilots have to go to the bathroom sometime.
Also, the Gundam tactic of abandoning your combat frame to scout ahead in person and covering it in camouflage netting also works decently.
Yep.
Yep.
As does, I mean, if you're really strapped for cash, you can do what CL's character did and apply for and receive a job working in the pharmacy at the Estrella manufacturing asteroid.
They did have great benefits there.
It was highly novel. Of course,
Yeah.
with... go ahead. I think I know what you're going to say.
And then there was Cobalt's plan, which just involved massive social security fraud by manufacturing fake identity after fake identity. That also worked pretty well.
That's really close to something that Captain Blaine comes up with in Z-Strike Exceed. Because she realizes, oh, hey, wait, calculators exist. Okay.
And that was the other thing that I realized you could do with my character.
Yep.
Although I used it more for physics stuff.
Oh, the physics stuff
As
got
it turns
fun.
out, oh yeah, that's the way that I decided to break the game was just stacking up as many bonuses as I could for my character because my rolls are consistently terrible. So I figured that if you just stack the bonuses high enough, you won't need to roll. It worked
Sound
surprisingly well.
I'm gonna grab some of his loot. So I think I'm getting close to having enough JP. So CL, I have purposefully not advanced the story much, or at all, since you were last here. Mainly been grinding the JP, so you didn't miss much. Except for grinding.
That's alright, because I've missed like everything since the first session, so I have no idea where in the story you are right now.
Well, right now...
I will be equally confused.
Okay, so... So the Death Corps had a schism. We took out one of the leaders. We got Marquis Elmdor back. It turned out in a secret cutscene that Reinhardt's older brother is in cahoots with Prince Larg, and they orchestrated the kidnapping, which went wrong because you weren't actually supposed to rescue Elmdor, but they're doing their best to make lemonade out of lemons. In reprisal, Vigroff, the dude who I believe was against kidnapping the Marquis, raided Reinhardt's family castle, tried to kidnap his sister and failed, succeeded in kidnapping Delita's sister. And the Hokuten Knights have traced them to Fort Zeekden, which they've ordered besieged. So Delita is naturally concerned that his sister could easily wind up a victim of friendly fire in the siege. That led to a heated debate with Algus, who just went full, like, kill them all and let Saint Ajora sort him out. And so he nearly came to blows with Delita and rage quit the party. So now we are on our way to Fort Zeekden to, one, try to assist with the siege of the fort, and two, to prevent Delita's sister from being a casualty. Make sense?
Sounds like a plan.
But on the way, I'm gaining JP, because at Martel's behest, I'm trying to unlock a calculator, which I think my priest just got enough levels to unlock the intermediary step 2. So we got that going for us.
It's alright. Sieges take a long time. I'm sure it'll still be there.
That's relief. Yep, I'm gonna grab that treasure and do a few more rounds of impotently wailing on my own guys. And we should be... Ooh! Neat. Got a time mage hat.
Yep, team. I might have to turn in here, I'm afraid.
And that's cool. Thanks for sticking around. Great conversation as always.
Yeah. Always a good time.
Did I miss any Eldritch Truths?
Oh, yeah. We're talking about the Odyssey and... Why? Oh, you might be well disposed to answer this. Earlier on, we were pondering what is the obsession with Japanese video games and manga and anime and having like the final boss of the big bad like either be God or some kind of demiurge or false god, but you've got to kill God at the end.
I wonder if the Manichaeist, the Gnostic worldview comes in by way of the Buddhism. Because the idea of having to kill God doesn't really jive with Shintoism from what I understand of it.
I think some others pointed to Buddhism as a possible vector.
I'd say Buddhism combined with Christianity being a spooky Spanish thing. But, I mean, that explains, like, sinister churches. But, yeah, I'd say the Buddhism's the likely vector for the Gnosticism. Which is a shame, because it really does get old.
Yeah.
Actually, I was rather pleased that Three Houses didn't have the Gnosticism, at least. Well, I don't know, Martel, you've played through the other storylines. Does it get Gnostic in any of those?
No. Saros is actually a creator deity, actually benevolent. That's about it. Just rather deceased. Sort of. As deceased as you can get when you're a god.
That's one reason I like Trigun, because I see it as an anime retelling of the gospel. And if you see Vash as a Christ figure, I mean, who's more benevolent than him? While not being afraid
Having
to...
not seen it, I'll
Oh, really? You've not seen Trigun?
take your word. Nope.
Okay, yeah.
I have a very long list of things to watch.
That should move to the top. Seriously. I think JD will back me up.
That high.
Dude, it's one of the 3 best anime ever. It's part of the holy trinity of anime. All time.
Above or below Galactic Heroes?
Above. Easily.
Okay, high praise.
Yep.
I was actually really pleased to see, now that we finally have a true final ending for Evangelion with the rebuild films, I was actually pleased to see that they ended on what I thought was a very Christian note with regards to everything.
Yeah, I haven't seen those.
I haven't seen it yet. No spoilers, please.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, that's right here. You have seen most of them, haven't you, Martel?
I have not seen any of the films. Well, except for the end of Evangelion. Which left me feeling kind of burned on it to the point where I haven't seen any of the other films.
Yeah, End of Eva is it's a movie.
Oh, this guy right here. Catch. This is how you can get an unlimited supply of the best 2 swords in the game later. Because you can intercept items thrown by enemies, and there are 2 ninjas in like the deepest dungeon that throw like Excaliburs and Chaos Blades around. So definitely
I was going to say, so is that how you get the... what's the class where you consume a sword to hit enemies with it?
Samurai.
Wait, are you just fighting your own party that you built in Final
Okay,
Fantasy IV?
Because I have a friend who was talking about how you use that glitch and just give samurai infinite Excaliburs.
Yep. True.
Nifty.
Well, let's see here.
Yeah,
Let's
we got
cut to the let's cut to the chase. Because hey, look what we unlocked. Ha ha ha.
Priest.
Below it.
Lancer.
Yeah.
Best class, clearly.
But Oracle is what we need to get the calculator.
Nice.
Is this where you got calculator from?
The exact same question I asked.
I think subliminally, but once again, story-wise, their abilities are more inspired by Dune's Mentats.
My Lancer comes from the Fate Zero.
I'm not familiar. Can you give us the rundown?
It's one of the only 2 Fate series worth watching. It was done as a prequel to the original game, and they brought in again Urobuchi to do the writing, so it's as dark as you'd expect. But
very good.
Yeah. And honestly, the Fate series should be dark for what it is, because no one involved in the Holy Grail War by choice is really going to be a good person, by and large. And so, the show is basically, yes, wizards and occultists are generally terrible people. Otherwise, they wouldn't be cultists.
It's kind of typified in that moment where this one master magician has transformed an entire floor of an apartment building into this dimensional fortress, and he's boasting to his paramour about the traps within traps and shadow labyrinths and dimensional traps, and just every single ward that you could imagine has been embedded into the walls to the point where an assault on it would take an army to get through. So one of his rivals just blows up the entire apartment building.
Brilliant. Oh, yes, Chad. Lancer is Jumpy Stabby Boy. Or girl sometimes. But, hey, Martel. So this is the 99.99 JP trick. It doesn't always work. It depends on the spell. But keep it on my JP in the upper right there. I'm going to confirm.
Okay.
Yep. Okay, so notice it went to all 0. Still 0, going to back out. Go back and learn, and it's 99.99. Just buy
Nice.
everything.
That's cool.
Yeah, and oracles are the best buff and debuff class in the game. Okay, mediators, give them a run for their money. But you can just wreak havoc with enemy unit stats. So like, you can blind them, you can absorb magic, you can lower or raise their faith or bravery, you can silence them, confuse them,
Nice.
dispel, and then they can like absorb mana and stuff. So Yeah, super useful. Mainly, like, is just a secondary ability farm. Because really what you want to do is you want to get the Oracle, like I did, learn everything, and then switch to a little more versatile class, but then equip Yin Yang Magic as a secondary, and then you're good to go. So that's my trick.
Yin Yang Magic being
The Oracle's class skill.
what does it do?
Like blinds, it's buffs and debuffs.
Okay.
So like raise or lower enemy bravery or faith, blind them, turn them to stone, slow them down.
Okay, I see. I'm not thinking too fast right now.
Yeah, understandable. What I'm gonna do is I'll keep playing and doing like the little bit of housekeeping and bookkeeping that needs done. But I think I'll go ahead and end the stream here because chat has held on to the bitter end long enough, and I'm sure they've got Christmas Eve stuff to do. So for Geek Gap Retrospective,
wow.
yeah, happy Christmas Eve, everybody. So this has been Brian with my co-hosts.
Martel,
Kenneth Glancer, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
And Crusader Saracen, who left earlier, from the whole Geek Gab family, including Dornall. If you like the stream, if you're still here, miraculously, like and subscribe, click the bell icon. Make sure to check out Comic Frame Exceed books linked below. Got Double S, the latest one. Although I suppose the new latest one is going to be the RPG, which will be out any minute. So be sure to check my Twitter feed and my blog Kairos for that. This has been episode 7 of Final Fantasy Tactics Retrospective. Thanks for joining us. Merry Christmas, and remember, games are better in retrospect.